Welcome everyone, and the secret that I have been hiding for many years. I have just arrived in Europe, in Portugal, Lisbon specifically, and I felt that I was free. I'm in Europe now, there is freedom, I can say whatever I want, I can do whatever I want, and I was so excited. At the same time, I was doing my master's in documentary film directing, and they requested us to make a documentary that is 5 minutes, one condition that it doesn't have music. And I thought, that's a great chance for me to make an idea that I was thinking about when I was in Egypt, but I didn't get the courage to do it. And it was The Last Generation. So as you know, I always see life as a place of suffering that ends with death. And I never wanted to bring my children to life. And I have a video about it, being antinatalist. But I had this idea that maybe how life will be like if everyone is like me. How will the last generation life look like? And then when I went to Portugal, and I was walking around the streets, I was so surprised that there are a lot of old people, and there were rarely you can see children. And when I was asking about it, I was in a taxi, and the taxi driver told me that, yeah, it's because of economic, situation. People don't want to bring children or don't have the financial capacity to have children. And I thought, that's very interesting because I come from Egypt where people also don't have financial capacity, but it's full of children. And then as I was walking around Lisbon, I saw in the market, old people, in the cafes, old people, in the bank, old people. There were old people everywhere. And this reminded me of this idea that I had, the last generation. I thought, oh my God, it's happening already in Portugal, especially in villages around Lisbon, where you can really see only old people living there. So when they asked us to make this documentary, I immediately thought of this idea. Okay, now it's not a fiction, it's actually a documentary, it's happening in real life. So I pitched the idea. I was like, I want to make this film, The Last Generation. I see here that in Portugal, many old people, no children. And I was attacked. I was like, what are you saying? Portugal is fine. There is no problem. And it seemed that they took it personally, that I'm attacking Portugal or something. And I just wanted to express myself because that's what I do all the time. All my documentaries, all my books, all my videos, it's all the main power that drive me to do this is my self-expression, number one. Satisfaction of other people, money, whatever comes later, I don't care much about it. So I really wanted to express this idea and show people, look people, this is the reality of life. When you don't have children, you see life, the truth of it. You come, you have a temporary short time in the scheme of lifetime, and you die, and you get old. Actually, you suffer, you get old, and then you die. But my supervisor threatened me that if I will make such a documentary, I will not pass. And I was so surprised because I thought, this is Europe, don't you hear, in the West have freedom of expression and all, and I can share whatever ideas I want. But it turned out that, especially in Portugal and some conservative countries, like for example, Hungary is the same. No, you can't. But still, even when he told me this, I thought he was not serious. Okay. So I thought, okay, I will change the idea a bit. It will not be The Last Generation, but I want to express myself and how I see life. So I immediately went and looked for a cemetery, and I found one near my house. I'm a very lazy documentary filmmaker, okay? So I like everything to be near me. Sometimes actually I make documentaries online. If you follow the channel here, you will know. And so I went immediately to a cemetery, and cemeteries in Europe are amazing. They are so beautiful. I even had one date in a cemetery in Lisbon, and it's in my book Love Surfing, which I'm working on now in English. If you want to follow my journey to find love and my life partner. And so I also looked for a nursery home, and I found one behind my where I was living. And I asked the manager, can I film here? And people in those houses, it's like they don't care about nothing. They are living in the last days of their life. Who cares? Right? So the manager was the only one who spoke English, and he was so welcoming, and he said, of course, and I can show you around. And he really came, and I was asking people questions, and he was translating.
But she's married.
Yeah, I've heard one.
Ah, if she had boyfriend before his husband?
Or maybe her husband was married.
Right. Quando era nova, o seu marido, it was boyfriend and then husband.
But then he found two old men, or old gentlemen, John and Edmondo. And they were always together, and they spoke English. And I discovered that they were colleagues in a primary school in Mozambique, because, Portugal used to occupy some countries in Africa. And the reason why I wanted to film in a nursery home is because I wanted to show the future of human beings. So that's what will happen to you if you are lucky and you lived long. You will get weak, and then you will die. And when I saw John, he was like that. John was so weak. It seems that he had some health issues, and he was really trying to survive, as much as he can. But then I found Edmondo, and Edmondo was so strong, so full of life. His voice was charming. Your name?
My name? You want my full name? Edmundo Eurico Santos Carreira.
I started having conversations with him, and they were very interesting. So my idea was to have someone who lived, his life is already behind him, and to tell me how he feels now, when he will not live as long as he lived. So I started talking to Edmondo, and I really enjoyed our conversations. He didn't have the same view that I had of life, although he was facing death soon. Even when I was asking him, for example, about what activities he does, and he said that he used to play, I think, basketball, and I was like, why you are not doing this now? And he said, because all my friends who I used to play with, they died. And he was laughing. So I felt like, oh, is this a laughing matter?
None of my friends, my new friends, played the game. So,
And where are your old friends?
well, I don't know. They probably did. They probably did.
So I started realizing that not everyone has the same view that I have. As someone, I know now that I'm anti-natalist, and I never wanted to have my children because I wanted to save them from this horrific experience of suffering and dying. But Edmundo wasn't like that. He loved life. He was so satisfied. So I started going to the nursery home every day just to chat with Edmundo and record, of course, trying to make him see life the way I see it. But at the same time, I was really excited about the way he see life. And I thought, I wish I was like that. I wish I saw life the way he did. That it's beautiful, and he really enjoy everything. Even now when he's old, he seems to be optimistic, and he try to enjoy his day as much as possible. And I started thinking, maybe I was exaggerating. This guy lived long enough to realize maybe, or to see something that I didn't see. Maybe it's not that horrible.
Tell me.
You like food?
Of course I like food, but not all the food. But generally speaking, I like food, yeah.
From all your experience, what is the best thing to eat?
Well, a nice juicy steak, fillet steak, juicy. I love it.
With meat.
It's so nice.
You don't feel guilty about killing animals?
I don't mind. No, I don't.
Did you kill by yourself before?
No, I don't mind by it.
Did you kill before animals? So I go every day, I film with him. One time I went and he was leaving the nursery home and I said, I came to film with you or to record with you. And he said, Teresa, all my life, no woman was chasing me the way you are doing. So he was funny. He was like, I wanted to spend eternity with him because he made me feel that there is nothing to fear, life is beautiful. Everything is fine. It's okay. And I was happy to change my view of life. I thought, yeah, maybe I exaggerated. Maybe it's not that bad. I like your point of view.
I'm glad.
You have this kind
I'm,
of good mind.
I call things by their names. It's one way of saying I call things by their names.
And then one day I went to film with him and said, where is Edmondo? And they said, he died yesterday. Of course, I was so shocked. I started crying in front of everyone. Of course, those are all old people who are waiting for their turn, so it wasn't nice for me to cry in front of them. And so the manager took me to his room and he brought me lemonade and he was like, it's normal, Teresa, it happens here in the nursery home every day. But I was so shocked. It's not just because Edmundo, he was such a fun company and I really enjoyed talking to him, but also he almost made me change my view. So I went home and I was crying, and I just decided that, you know what, I have now more energy to share my view of life because has been proven by Edmundo's death. So I couldn't continue the film, of course, with Edmundo. I just used his voice and I was filming with his friend John because John really looked the way how old people usually look. So weak and tired and not the best. So I made the film. I didn't show it to my supervisor until the screening, and I showed it to another supervisor who I thought that she's really open to such to different ideas, like not to antinatalism and how I view life, but she's open to all views and opinions. And she said, it's a great film, Theresa. And then we came to the screening, and after I screened the film and I was standing there waiting for Q&A, waiting for questioning me, I was attacked like never before by everyone. How dare you show, what is this useless film? Life is beautiful. And this film haunted me for the rest of my time in the masters. It became like every instructor or professor that came, whether in Portugal or in other countries, it's like, you remember the film that Theresa did? Never make a film like that again. No matter what I said, no matter how I was defending my point of view, no one really cared because everyone see how life is and they don't need someone to remind them of the negatives. They want someone to encourage them, to give them hope. So like Edmundo, So it wasn't received very well. And the film will be premiered on Unique TV, this channel, for the first time. So if you want to watch it, it's only 5 minutes. And let me know. I just wanted to share how I see life. Edmundo was part of it, and John was part of it as well. And of course, they attacked me when they discovered that the guy that they see is not the one who's talking. And they said, this is not a documentary. And I don't care if it's a documentary or not. It's just, I don't care about classifications. It is how I see life. And when they discovered that my protagonist died in the film, many people told me, keep this as a secret, because if someone knew this, no one will want to film with you again. And I want to tell you that after this film, I filmed with many other people, many documentaries you can find on this channel, and they're still alive, for now. So that was the secret that I kept for many years. Yes, my protagonist died during the shooting. I think it was just perfect because it aligned with how I see life. Although, of course, I miss Edmundo. I wish I spent more time with him, but it is what it is. So go watch the film. I will leave a link below.